Okay, all this talk of women, I thought I would read the third section of For Sappho back. If you would know what woman is, what strength the reed of man unknows forever, cannot know, look, look in these eyes, look as she passes on this moving thing, which moves as grass blade by grass blade moves, as syllable does throw light on fellow syllable, as in this rare creature, each hidden, each moving thing is light to its known, unknown brother, as objects stand one by another, so in this universe, this flow, this woman, these eyes are sign. I thought I would just read mostly, a few minutes from my first book, a magic book, which I think is most directly influenced by Olson, and if there's time, maybe one poem from a more recent book. But this book was written in Buffalo, New York, where I was doing my PhD, and Olson is sort of ghost there, of course. And this is a kind of history of 19th century magic, and a great gaping, the compass of our knowledge wound around our ears. Knell, lull, lull, peers through no relation. Numerous find in our weeds a sufficient history and an ancient invisibility among our leaves. This is a long poem, I should have said, so it's not sort of the next poem, but this next part of the poem I'll read. And it talks about the Davenport brothers, who were these magicians who lived in Buffalo, who would get into their little cabinets and have their hands tied behind their backs, and musical instruments would levitate above their heads, and things like this. So I speak of them here. When the Davenport brothers, boys from Buffalo, masters of the cabinet seance, created a sensation in Europe, Robin, famous French magician, insisted that the Davenports' tricks had nothing to do with the conjuring of spirits. He easily duplicated the Davenports' mysterious manifestations. He made or didn't make, or showed that the Davenports had never made, or at the very least had made something other, something less authentic than they had proposed to make. Errand number 9, move into. Choose a house you like and move in. Move right in. No worries if someone lives there. Take their room, pull your car into their garage, and pen your dog up in their backyard. Most importantly, pick the lemons their ancestors have been growing for centuries. Search their pantry for their sugar, and make a sweet beverage. A matter of right, religious or otherwise, permit you to make invisible centuries-old inhabitants. Some Americans claimed not to like the conjurers or the establishments in which they conjured. John Woolman, the great Quaker, insisted that the art of magic was of no use to the world, where the devil dances on stilts to the tune of a hand organ. But even George Washington was a conjuring fan. The art of now you see it, now you don't, became firmly established as part of American life. Seeming impossibilities, seeds, mend, abilities, ancestors, posy, me, posit, seeds, fruit. Before seeds sanction ties, sing, see, and talk make ties, levities, and fruit. So sorry I stole our nest, orphans, seances, see siblings, and high trees and lies tressed. You've talked to me like I've torn my dress. The compass of our knowledge wound around our ears. Magic of a needle. Walking where one shouldn't, doing and dreaming a disaster. Paying to see a disaster undone magically. Before Ira Davenport died, he met Houdini. That which exists outside profane time reoccurs and pre-occurs. Nests do and do not go unoccupied. Deserts do and do not remain unconquered. West does and does not remain west. No more root in the deep world or in the mid-world. And now the whole globe, divided in 3 parts, is a kind of wild wart growing beneath this moss, outside profane time, and linen that will not burn in fire. Our earth resembles a radish. All radishes breed and provoke passers. Oh, eat them. Oh, heat them in fire. Thistles, tadpoles, and fungi, the udder of the Milky Way. Come away, come away. Okay, I will read one poem from a newer book. Has these sort of little preface parts to it, though. I seem to be unable to write one poem, actually. I'll read these little pieces first. And the poem I'm going to read is a kind of purging in some way of all of the work that I seem to be doing is a sort of poetic historiography stuff. So you can see why Olson has been important to me. But the poem that I will read here in a minute is a kind of a desire to bring the lyric God into a kind of conversation, not necessarily with history, but with my project and with my with the idea of creation. And at the time I was pregnant when I wrote this poem called "The Stranger at the Gates." This book is called "The Method," and it looks at a manuscript by Archimedes called "The Method," in which he kept all of the proofs for his equations, and it has a very long and complicated history that has sort of pages torn out of it, forgeries written into it, ends up being finally auctioned at Christie's about 8 years ago. Road, come pass with me, terrors by the side of seas and easterlies. She dug the box out of the closet. She stuffed the baby's clothes with rags until a body, like a scarecrow's, filled the clothes. She placed the body in the bed beside her. The stranger at the gates. I thought, the method, so happily recovered. I am the one who called us all together. I driven time. I wars and waves. I was. I go over sea lanes rife with fish I did not. I saw a shadow on the water. I know this situation makes a perfect poem, but I will not. I want to write that I've already been to Jupiter, but I have not, or that Catholicism died in the darkness of the already dark ages. I, a man mountain, a level island. I, a side road. I, a dead toad on the side road, willing to say what I've seen with my own eyes. The heart inside us shakes a swirl with evil. I, the eye in the waiting pool, bathed in shame. I sing for our time, too. I plan to follow all the eyes I could find. I, a haze. Not even the geese could make their way. I sit down on the curb and wait. Listen. I loved him. Our sat and sulked, but I, a second hand, did not budge. I, an automobile. I, a blast furnace ensnared. I, a home like all the others in my neighborhood. I, at some other century, imaginary love affair with heifers and others left like a stranded hair. I told you I'd tell your story if you just let me tell it. I, an embellishment before the roads of the world grew dark. I, a moon making its way round. I hate a metaphor. I pissed on the sidewalk. I did not. I heard her heartbeat 15 times before she was born. I, a final glow of antiquity. I, a method of exhaustion. I felt her barefoot from the inside. I streaked the administration. I bare myself too, my breast to the moon, making its way round. I resent you whom I serve. I said I would say what you want, but say it my way. I, a television. I, a giant model heart touring the city-state before slaves in the birthplace, the cradle, etc. I, swallow in your sight, loose the sack and all the winds blew past. I doled out my time and money. I was broke before the Reformation, the Resurrection, and the Restoration. I, heathendom. I, saintdom. I, a polka dot. I, cock of the walk, cocksure, yelping, put beeswax in my ears. I, a dog in obedience class who can no longer hear. I say what you want me to say. I I say how brave, I say how clever, I say how we went together happily, how you loved me, how we became a we, and I died, and you lived on, restored and pretty. Thank you.